Can you spot the differences?
I wasn't paying enough attention. I was reading the chat.
Well, damn.
I'm sorry.
Kelly, has your mic gone different? Steven, do you
My
hear
mic?
something wrong with Kelly's sound?
Yeah.
Like
I
the
don't
little
know.
crackly thing?
Watch me fix it. Watch how quickly I can fix it. Okay.
Okay, what did you do?
Oh, no. Wait, not yet.
Okay.
Now try it.
All right.
No, it's not working because I was too confident. That's how I fixed it last time. What, like, I edit your mic settings, and then like I adjust your mic volume and then turn it back
Let
on.
me go into my mic settings. Settings. I'm on the right camera. Audio. Default.
Damn.
I'm using my Logitech Brio. That's what I should be using, right? Not my laptop.
Yeah, it's all. It's hard to describe, but it's bad. It's all fucked up.
Crap. Automatically adjust mic volume. Ugh. Do you want to keep echo cancellation on?
Yes.
Stereo audio? I don't know what that is.
You could also try. You can also try like unplugging and replugging, or like backing out, coming back in, like refreshing.
Right.
Sometimes StreamYard likes to be annoying. All right. Well, I guess we'll be wetting our plants alone for a bit.
I've come to replace Kelly. No more Kelly. It's just me and you.
Yeah, I was toggling echo cancel on and off for her, and then also the automatic volume adjustment. Usually that is what fixes it. But
it didn't work this time.
No, not this time. But Ryan's plants are so wet right now. All right, I'm seeing, well, let's see. I just see a K. Give me a K.
Okay.
How's that? Can you see me?
We can hear you much better. We can't see you.
Well, I don't know why you can't see me.
It looks like something's covering.
Oh, because I'm not on the right camera.
Okay.
Oh.
There we go.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. I fixed it. I don't know how. StreamYard, man. What you gonna do?
StreamYard be StreamYarding, but that's okay as long as we pay them their $30 a month or whatever they require. They'll just keep being okay performing.
I guess. The thing is, I'm not important to this because we've Myrtle back. That's what
we're all important.
Want. The people want Myrtle.
And there he is.
There he is.
And I have returned.
You have returned triumphant.
Fishstream says, yeah, that noise messes with people's sensory system. Well, I mean, no one's going to listen to a full hour of that, of it sounding like that.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry I sounded so bad.
Well, go back and listen, and you can see how it sounded. It was just like you had that issue. What? You don't like going back and listening?
No, I don't like going back and listening. No, I was imitating the noise I thought I was making.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad you fixed it. I'm glad you fixed it in my stream, too, because I didn't even realize. And I get behind in chat because I talk for like a half hour at the beginning of my stream. So
there is nothing more frustrating than trying to troubleshoot someone's audio system from chat, and they're like a week behind because they're trying to make changes.
You have to wait 50. Yep. They make one change, and then 50 minutes later, you can make another change.
I don't even know what's happening.
Or they're making changes reacting to what someone said earlier, even though it's already been fixed. So it's like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, I just let Steven do all of my admin work for me. He is an important part.
Happy to do it.
Fundamental. He is fundamental to Science is Fundamental.
I may not understand what the hell you're talking about half the time, but I can
play a key role. You know, I just saw an interesting comment. Oh crap! I just minimized you guys. Can you hear me?
Oh,
yep.
Yes, we can hear you. Yep.
I accidentally minimized you. Holly said that her rescued Severums are treating her plants like a buffet. Probably not a good combination. I mean, I've never
Yeah,
had a
severums and plants don't go together well.
No.
Aren't severums like called the poor man's discus?
Mm-hmm.
And
They're
they're
not for
very
a plant to take.
yeah, they're very pretty, but then it's
They're
when you
pretty.
hear that you think, okay, we'll plant a tank, yeah, pretty, but
Yeah.
no, it's still
I've
one of
never
those.
heard of anyone doing that successfully. Let's put it that way. But I have never kept a severum. There's a reason I've never kept a severum. I've heard they are not kind to your plants.
Yeah,
So maybe find them another tank in your home. Maybe take your plants out before they're all dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have a topic today. We have a topic.
is it about plants?
I mean, this is what
I would hope it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
what your
this
plants.
is about growing a lot of plants quickly
Yeah,
and selling them, right?
that's right. So it's the topic is what would Stephen Kelly and Myrtle do if we had a plant warehouse?
Oh, warehouse now. Okay.
Oh, it's a
isn't
warehouse
that
now.
what
Okay.
isn't it warehouse? Like if we had a plant business. I
See,
don't know. I didn't see the thumbnail.
I was
Plant
preparing for like a
profit?
fish. If you want to turn your fish room into like just like everything of the fish farm, but I can do a warehouse too. It's just an expansion of
Myrtle.
I mean,
what you want to do in your fish room.
What I would do if I had a plant business, like day one, would be to hire Myrtle.
yeah,
I would just
outsource
be
the
like,
maintenance.
"Well, I'm gonna pay for Myrtle." I mean, if you're gonna hire anyone, you would hire Myrtle.
I most
Yep.
definitely.
Well,
could
what would
not
my job
afford
be? Would I
Myrtle.
be just trimming the plants constantly, or
No,
filling up
I mean,
time?
you would be like you would be doing a lot of things. I mean, if you were the
I'll
only
do
person
everything.
in business, you'd be doing it all.
Yep.
Yeah, you'd be answering customer emails. You'd be setting up the CO2. You'd be ordering. Yeah, I mean, you'd be doing it all. I would hire Myrtle. That's what I would do. So,
Yep.
but if you couldn't hire Myrtle, I think that your number one thing you need to do if you're a plant retailer is to get your immersed grown farm plants, get them happy as quick as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so how I would do that is I would have CO2 in like
Cranked up to 11 because
cranked
as
up
much
to
CO2, yeah.
11 with like nothing else in there, and I would get ferts on an auto pump. So I would buy them dry and I would mix them up according to EI dosing, which you do with a calculator online. So you don't have to think at all, and dry ferts are cheap. And then
Would you grow all your plants immersed, or would you sell only converted plants?
Well, I mean, when you get them from a farm, I don't think you have a choice. And I don't
No,
think
when you're turning them around to sell to the customer.
I mean, I think that I don't
At
know
least
that
85% converted, ideally.
I mean, that would be nice to sell
yeah.
85% converted. But
see, that's why I put question mark behind profit, because I wouldn't want to do that kind of plants for profit where I'm just getting them from a farm and then I'm selling them as fast as I can.
yeah,
Because I think I'm just like, people are just going to be frustrated. Like, I would rather like the newbie understand, like, you can buy this plant for me. You might pay a little bit more, but it's gonna be, you're gonna be set up for success a little better.
yeah. The thing is, even if you have a business model where you're just selling what you get, you're not going to move them fast enough that they won't start converting anyway. So the best thing you can do is to do it quick. And that's low pH water with auto water changes. So it's easy. I would change water every single day because why not? 20% a day on auto water changing.
Or have all the tanks plumbed together and just have it constantly refreshing.
Yeah, because plants love that. I would have ferts on auto dosers and I would be fertilizing them heavy. And I would crank that CO2 up to 11.
So you would do water changes every day. So what if we're just talking, your water source is your tap, so you have to use RO if you want? low KH
I would
water.
move to an area of the country where my KH was low.
Okay,
Well,
so now you're just
Kelly's just like find the perfect land to
Right.
build a plant.
I mean,
See,
there are
I was
lots of
approaching
places
this from
that
like,
have low
let's say I
water.
have a separate attached building to my house, and that's the best
Mhm.
I'm going to do. I still have to use my tap water. I still have to be budget minded in terms of the lights that I
Yeah.
use and the tanks I would use, and make efficient use of the space and that kind of thing.
Well, I would still
And
use
that can be
RO
done
water.
there.
I
Mhm.
would still
Or-
use RO water
Yeah.
because it's just
Or
so
at-
much better.
Yeah, at
But
the very
I
least, you
wouldn't
can.
use water every day. Then I would
Yeah.
change water every week.
Three
Let's put it that
every
way.
week, yeah.
And I would still use RO water because he says apparently this warehouse is deep inside the imagination, Kelly. Very deep. Because I'm never going to have a plant warehouse because I don't want to run a business unless it's
Never say
selling
never.
quality medical writing, in which case I already have that business. But if you're lucky enough to have low KH water out of your tap, you are golden and you should use it. And then you can change water every day. If you have to pay for RO water, I would change it every week. But I would still do automatic fertilizers because that's
Mhm.
hands off and that's easy. I would still have it plumbed for auto water changing because it's easy. I don't know if I'd bother to have a filter in there. If there's no fish, you don't need it. I would just have power heads.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Water movement.
Just to move the water around, yeah.
And I would use cheap lights.
Like shop lights or
Not
just
shop lights, but
LEDs.
I would use plant LEDs, but I wouldn't use Flu Ball 3.0.
Yeah, I
Like
don't go for
Tigers,
the.
Beams Works, that kind of stuff, like Night Cruise.
Yeah, Night Cruiser,
Mhm.
Beamsworks, or Hikers, or something like that. Because you do need some intensity, but you don't need like Chihiro's lights. Like,
Yeah.
I would get a really, really good regulator. I would spend money on that because
Mhm.
a shitty regulator is miserable.
And then
I
however
would,
many manifolds you can put on it.
and I would do
on
like a
20
50
pound.
pound, 50
50.
pound tank. Yeah, or even a 100
Yeah.
pound tank. They make them.
Where?
Yeah.
Where can I get one of those?
I mean, you could ask your CO2 supplier. And they can
Now,
quote
I
you.
asked them for a 20 pound, and they're like, we rent those out. And I'm like, what do you mean you rent those out? I'm just going to go buy one on Amazon for like $150 and not pay you rent for a 20 pound cylinder.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, we had them when I was in the lab. We had 100 pound cylinders. So, I mean, it's possible to get one, but bigger is better for cylinders.
Yeah.
You know, I know Green Aqua, they have their CO2 like, I think it's under the floor and then it delivers.
Oh,
out
that's
to all
nice.
the
Yeah.
tanks. Yeah, I mean, because obviously it's set up for that. But yeah, I think that's what I would do because I mean the name of the game is speed for conversion.
Yep.
And the
Speed and
thing-
cost
yeah.
efficiency. So it's like you actually make a profit off of it. Whereas if I just use this plant farm behind me and all I did was ever sell plants out of it, maybe I would come close to breaking even on the amount of work that I've done to the tank, like just that tank.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that as a hobbyist is different than a business where
If you're just a hobbyist,
your
it's
livelihood-
easier to
Yeah.
set up a plant farm like what Steven has than if you unless you compare it to what
Yeah,
Kelly's
but
idea is, where that's a sole business.
Yeah. I thought that was the topic of the stream.
It can be either one. That's
Could
why
be
I put
either
a
one.
question mark over
Yeah.
over
Mhm.
profit, and that's why you're supposed to read the thumbnail.
But I didn't read the thumbnail because you posted it so late and I had to do my corporate job today.
Well,
I had to
that's the
screen.
problem.
I'm in the middle of screening 812 papers. That is the
I just
hell.
wouldn't.
I'm
Yeah, what Steven said, just don't.
You
Have
know
you
what?
tried
Though?
not?
You can put on a trashy Netflix show and you can just grind through it because a lot of it is just title and abstract screening. The first round it doesn't require a lot of brain power. But hey, dog, what do you want? There's a dog who wants attention.
Myrtle, were you the one who sent Luke the high grow Augustifolia?
Mhm.
Probably. I
Yeah.
think you sent me some of that too.
Yep.
Is that
I
the
don't
one
get
that has
those
the
veins in
super
long green leaves and the really
Yeah.
thick brown stalk. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
I
get
like
the
it.
crimsonous veins in mine unless they're like the very top leaves because I have so many plants in there and like I could shade it out. But it does get and the whole leaf will get a bronzish red color if you give it a chance.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean the key to a plant for profit is like setting it up cheaply, going with just a crap ton of CO2.
Yeah.
And would you have any kind of livestock in there, like I don't know, algae eaters or something like
Hmm.
that?
I think you would have to play that by ear because I'm not sure. Because
I
the
would
thing
do a
is,
whole bunch of Maillard snails and a mono shrimp.
oh, I would do a bunch of the Cleathon snails, yeah.
Yeah,
But
the
the
Cleathon
thing
ones,
is,
the horn ones, yeah.
Mhm.
you can crank your CO2 higher if you have no livestock.
True.
But algae eating livestock do help. But then you have to be mindful of your livestock. So I would put some like SAEs in there, Siamese algae eaters. I would put Cleathon snails in there. That's probably all I would bother with. I think those are the only two things that
Florida flagfish would probably eat some of that hair algae that SAEs don't really get.
yeah, and you're not going to want to keep a plant farm very warm anyways. Room temperature is
Yeah.
fine.
Hmm.
So, and Florida flagfish can take a little cooler water.
Yeah, they have a really wide
No,
range.
if SAEs would be happy or not. I'm not sure. The Cleathon sales would be fine.
SAEs are also jumpers, so
So
You need to put
lids,
lids on.
but you wouldn't want lids on a plant farm because the lid is just like making your
it's gonna
light
block
that
your light. It's gonna block your light, but light is cheap. Light is cheap.
It is, but it's an extra part of maintenance because your lid will
It is an
collect
extra part
water,
of
and if
maintenance.
you live in a
Well,
place with
and
high KH,
it's more electric bill.
Mhm.
It's more
yeah,
electric bill. You got to think about that. So maybe no SAEs. So maybe just the Cleathon snails, or maybe nothing, and see how it goes. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, if you get things pretty healthy, and
I mean, Luke raises a good point, but we're trying to be respectful to the
yes,
livestock
we
here.
want to.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna.
The polycarbonate lids, they don't block that much light, and they don't get all cloudy and like the glass.
Right, right. That's true. And they're easy to maintain. You could just hose them off. I mean,
Mhm.
and the thing is they're not going to get that cloudy if your water is low KH. If
Yeah.
you're using RO water, your water just
There's
doesn't
no
get it.
deposit to sit on the lid. It's just
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
my lids got so crusty when I lived in Iowa.
Mm.
They don't
Hey,
really get
Kyle.
back here.
Kyle prefers plants for profit. The profit pH. Oh, hail Lord Anubius.
I mean,
Did Bex help you with that joke, or was that all on your own? Because
Kyle can make jokes. I met Kyle. He's funny.
Kyle's slowly getting into the fish tube side. He's slowly.
yeah, I
learning
was only
things.
asking because what Scotty said, that's the most hobbyist thing I've ever heard you
Mhm.
say.
Kyle pays attention. He knows there's a quiz at the end. A duckweed warehouse. Wow, Annette. Like, there's not a market for that.
There we go. That was all Kyle.
Oh, Kyle.
good
Way
one,
to go,
Kyle.
Kyle. Way to go, Kyle. Way to go. I mean, if I were doing my own personal at-home plant farm, I think you can go one of two tacks. And, like, there's no middle ground. I think you either do, like, easy plants,
Mhm.
Mhm.
or you do
Or super
hard,
rare plants where like one stem will
hard
sell
rare
for like
plants.
$50. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what if you have a few? Like you have that one or two tanks that contain your like slow grower but
Mhm.
high return plants, and then you have like your noxious weed area.
That's a
I
good
don't
way
know.
to
I
go
kind
too.
of feel
The
like
stuff
you
that's legal to
specialize
spend.
in. I kind of feel like you specialize in one or the other. Like if you really want to maximize your dollars, like
No.
you either become
I
known
d-
as like the rare plant queen, or you just be known as the person who's like the go-to guy for.
Well, you can kind of operate in two separate ways. you can be the rare plant person on like those Facebook auctions and stuff, because it's not like you're going to be selling that stuff all the time. So you get some
It's just
trimmings or
occasionally,
something.
and that is
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you let it bid up. But then like your bread and butter is selling the your Ludwigias and Rotalas and maybe
I don't
even
know. I kind of feel like the people, like I'm thinking of the rare plant sellers, you know, or who are hobbyists, but like are clearly making money off of it. I think that like I doubt they have a single thing in their tanks that is not kind of rare. Like that's just how they've specialized.
yeah.
Because they want to get as much dollars per square inch as possible.
that's what
So
they're
if you
looking
were,
for. Yes.
May,
Yeah.
she's in Brooklyn. She grows crazy rare plants. So
I mean, I've purchased a few, but like, or I've gotten a few, but then I just like obsess over them and get scared all the time about them.
I've noticed that like the people who specialize in rare plants live in places of the country that naturally have soft water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I bought from that woman Lee May before. She lives in Brooklyn. Their water is super low pH there. It's very soft. Or they're from like Seattle, which has really soft water. So, you know, like you're not going to see like rare plant sellers from Iowa. It's just not.
Fighting an uphill
Nobody's getting
battle.
rich off that. Yeah. I mean, I used to grow plants in Iowa. Like,
So if you were gonna be just like the bread and butter quick grower plants, what would each of y'all put in your farms?
I mean, I think that I would put Java moss. People love Java moss. I would put guppy grass. People love that. And you can't really buy it.
So Java moss, you would I feel like in order to grow like a sufficient amount of that, you'd have to have a tank that was just Java moss.
Just Java moss, yeah. So you can just
Yeah.
You could
pull
also
portions
breed
out of
shrimp
it.
in too.
Mhm.
I mean, you could also breed shrimp in that too. But
And then keep them super clean. Like
Oh.
Grant and Shelby, they grow moss and they have no algae in their moss because they keep all that crap
they
free and
keep their
clear.
tanks very clean. They take maintenance very seriously. And Eric is sick. Oh
And he
no.
still sent us
Hope you feel
money.
better.
He's been
No.
Eric,
puking
I'm so
on the
sorry.
hour every hour.
His children
Oh,
got him sick.
that's
I'm
horrible.
100%
Yeah.
sure those children did it to him.
Well, it's always the children.
Oh, Eric, feel better soon. Your poor tummy. Oh,
Yeah.
Eric.
Thank you for the super. Does on the hour every hour mean like right at 5 o'clock?
It's like, oh, it's time to puke.
Time.
God, I've done that. Oh, it's the worst. Oh, Scotty says, poor Kyle, too much jissing. Oh.
And then we got people in Texas that are like getting hit with ice storm.
Boy, that's tough on you guys. Yeah, that's tough on you guys. Oh, Eric says it's those damn crotch goblins. Oh, the children. Always the children.
Always.
Oh, God. I mean, my sister and her husband are sick all the time. Oh.
Poor Kyle, too. Wait, oh.
Never
I was like, how did I get dragged into Scotty's comment?
I heard that out loud. Yeah, John Cox pointed out guppy grass does not ship well is the main reason why you don't see it listed. Yes, I've heard that also, and it's very popular. People always want it. It's very easy to grow. So, like, if you want to just grow that and sell it, you'll always find people to buy it because people want it. Hi, Bex. Love you.
Bex.
We miss you.
Yeah, very much.
You're taking your time, and time is good. Tell Kyle to give you a kiss.
Now.
Do it now, Kyle.
Right now.
Do it now.
Immediately drop everything you're doing.
Unless you're at work, that would be difficult. I mean, don't like leave.
He's helping. Well, he was helping Bex do water changes today. So
okay, well then you can give her a kiss.
Yes.
Just do it now.
It's
do
safe.
it now.
No planes will be harmed in the process of giving a kiss.
Do not cause a major air accident to kiss your wife. Don't do that. Yeah. So guppy grass is really popular. Java moss is really popular. I don't know why. I don't like either of those plants. Water sprite is popular. Anything that grows fast and cheap.
Real quick, does anyone know
I
Saint's
grow.
Dust's name? Nathan's asking.
I don't know Saint's Dust name either.
Hmm.
But hi, Saint's Dust, if you're watching the replay or whatever. Hi.
What's your name, Saint's
Tell us
Dust?
your name. Leave a comment so we can learn.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never told anyone what my real name is. I've never divulged
It's
that.
Fat Kitty's owner. That's your legal name. That's how it was assigned.
You're
It's
part
Fat
of the
Kitty's
Discord,
owner.
you know.
Myrtle, have you ever divulged your real name?
Oh, I will never. It's
Madurial.
something else.
Something else.
Yep.
What was that teacher who mispronounced your name, like Madural or something?
Like a Murdurial, something like that. Yeah.
Madural. Wow, that was...
Adding in I's and Y's and
just add some vowels. Yeah. And John points out he's ordered it 3 times and it turns to mush even with overnight shipping. I have heard the same thing. And that's why
He's talking about guppy
pick up
grass?
your local club.
Yeah. Guppy
Gotta
grass
pick it
doesn't
up
ship
at your
well.
local club.
I'm curious. So guppy grass is on if you're a member of the channel, the free plants that I send out. Guppy grass is on that list. I've sent guppy grass to quite a few people. I'm curious if there's anyone here who has received guppy grass from me and had an issue with it, or did it arrive fine? I mean, I send them like guppy grass because I have a lot.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you do send guppy grass, you'll probably end up with guppy grass when it ships, because most of it will die off. But
and
that
then it'll
doesn't.
turn
That,
into
we don't
guppy
mean
grass.
to say. Yes, it'll go from this, but it'll turn into guppy grass. So yeah.
You need like a 2-inch piece of it.
Yeah, like the little, I don't know, like that much that I got from LRB at Aquashella 2021, that has been responsible for the pounds upon pounds upon pounds that I've produced.
But I'm here to tell you that there are people of black thumbs. I don't know if you knew this. There are people like you can give them gallons and gallons of plants and tell them how to grow them, and you can have the exact same water as them and they'll just kill them. So, I mean, so that's why you always find a market for those easy plants. So, like pearlweed is a good one. Any high grow, like Hygrophila corymbosa cherry stem, not compact. That one's a little slow. The cherry
all
leaf.
sorts of bacopa.
Bacopas, rotalas, those are fast. God, I'm tired of rotalas.
Compacta is so beautiful, though.
It is, but it's a very slow grower. I don't think you're going to get rich. Oh, Whip, you have very hard water. It's very difficult here. It's difficult, Whip.
No, Kelly's talking about the same water. Kelly's water is just moderate.
I have my water is not too bad. I mean, I wouldn't. It is not as good as like Seattle water, but it's not bad. I have KH of 6, GH of 6 out of the tap. It's not too bad.
So Scotty's asking, what is the best size tank for creating a plant farm? So if you were going just for plants, then I would probably just get a bunch of low boys, because you can easily like stack low boys on top of each other.
However, I wouldn't set up a plants for profit tank until you knew how to grow plants really well. Yeah. Like learn to grow plants first before you decide you're gonna make a living that way.
Yeah. I don't think Scotty is like
a good metric
on that, but
yeah. A good way to decide when you're ready is if you can run one plant to display tank successfully. I have like a whole bunch of species in there. And then you see what grows well in that one tank, and you multiply those plants into their individual assigned tanks.
Because here's the thing: nobody wants to buy your algae covered plants.
Yeah. If the leaves are brown and melting.
I've gone to swaps before, and I've picked up a bag of like Java fern or something, and it's covered in swaps. It's covered in algae, and I'm like, nobody wants it. and it's a dick move to sell your algae covered plants. So I would say to learn to grow plants first.
Yeah,
And
Well, you
then,
heard it here, folks. Send your algae
think
covered plants to
about
Kelly.
the kind of plants that you would be really pissed off if you received. Don't sell those.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not saying that I don't have algae at times. I do. But I know how to grow them without algae too. So, I mean, make sure that you're really good at growing plants first. And if I were setting up a plant farm, I would set up with CO2. I would
Yeah.
set up with expensive substrate. If I had the choice, if I had naturally RO water, I would do it. I mean, if that was an option for me, I would do RO water because you're going to get better yield if that was my goal in life.
Substrate is a good topic for a plant farm, though.
Oh yeah, for me, like I would use like some kind of aqua soil. I would use Fluval stratum or the new stratum, or I would use UNS contra soil, or like Tropica substrate is good. Or
Would you go like full ADA Amazonia?
No.
well, I mean, if you had a way to get it cheap, like if you bought some at an auction or something and it was cheap, but I don't think that it's very available around here cheaply. So I would go with another aqua soil probably but if you saw some at an auction or something, I would buy it.
So say 5 years from now, whenever that aqua soil has turned to mush and it's starting to kind of lose its nutrients,
I
do
don't
you
know.
replace it or do you just
Root
I mean,
supplement
tabs.
it?
I'm going on
Supplement it
3
for root
years.
tabs. Yeah.
I'm going on 3 years with the stuff I have, and it hasn't. I mean, I know
None,
people
not,
have PDA, and it lasts a long time too. Like, I think it's a myth that it turns to mush. I don't.
it's
believe
only
it.
for those people who like are aggressive with their substrate and are like
Yeah.
not caring that they're breaking the little beads as they're planting plants.
What are they even doing with it? Are they like punching it? Are they? I mean,
They're taking like a potato masher and just jamming the substrate with it. They're making substrate
It's called
mashed
a
potatoes or
slap chop.
Yeah.
something.
You just churn it
Yeah.
up a little bit.
And I think that most people probably after let's say 5 years are going to redo their substrate anyways for lots of reasons. Maybe they get sick of that tank. You know,
You
not
wouldn't want to
gravel.
do inert
Right.
substrate because you'll spend way more money on root tabs over that period
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah. Also, I mean, if your goal is to maximize plant growth, if this is your goal is a plant farm where you want to get the most bang for your buck, you want an optimized substrate, and that's what those things are. So John Cox points out that he would plan on doing the Father Fish soil. So Father Fish is not the first person who came up with that. So like Diana Wallstad was probably the first person in the hobby.
Yeah,
Back
the
to the
dirt
20s.
and cap.
The issue with that is I think you can I have done dirt before. I think you can expect a prolonged period of algae and agony.
The initial setup's going to be a very long wait to get through that algae phase.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get there, but like if your goal is to like hit the ground running with producing sellable mass the fastest, you're gonna
aqua soil is the way to go for that.
aqua soil is gonna pay for itself.
Well, I mean, so the dirt and the sand and that natural thing. I mean, that is a different approach. You're not going for pristine, clean plant farms. You're going for that setting up that food web for your fish, and you're focused on the fish and growing plants, but not like growing beautiful aquatic garden.
Yeah, and it's a different aesthetic. It's a different method, but people don't want to buy algae covered plants. Now, maybe
but this isn't to say that this isn't saying that all dirted planted tanks can have to be ugly. You can grow plants beautifully in there. It just takes a lot of work and effort and time. Time, which is not something you want to have excess of. Like you don't want to have too much time when you're doing a profit tank. You want everything to be a quick turnaround.
And
so how much are you saving in that amount of time, and versus just spending the $150 on aqua soil to fill a few low boys?
And the other issue is with soil, to be really careful when you uproot plants.
Yep, you don't want the
You have
plume
like
of
your
soil to just
run
come out. Yep.
nearby because you can
Oh,
get the
God. And I move plants around all the freaking time.
right. So I mean,
Member
that's
milestone
another
from
downside.
Austin, real quick. Just wanted to say
Hi,
thank
Austin.
you, member, for 8
Hey,
months.
Austin. Hi. So, I mean, I think that it's great for other applications, but if your goal is like farm and dollars per gallon, I think there are probably better things you can do. John did
Mhm.
point out outdoor tubs. I grow things in outdoor tubs too. I
Mhm.
think that that is not a bad way to do it because you're getting the sun for free.
Yeah.
And you know, the biggest issue with that is making sure you have lots of mass and lots of coverage of the water, because I've seen with my own ponds, as long as like 90% of the surface is covered, there's no algae at all.
Mhm.
So, but that limits the kind of plants that you're going to be selling.
It also
So,
increases the amount of
exposure
pests you can have in your plants, like mosquito larvae or
Oh, for
dragonfly
sure. Yeah.
nymphs. Yep,
Berkeley just
snails
said that.
can.
Yeah, pests.
Oh, yeah, Brooklyn said it too. Yep.
Oh God, yeah. That's a
This
great
is
point.
how snail leeches get in my crypt tank.
Oh, yeah, snail leeches too. Yeah, because outdoor tubs, I find, they have snail leeches in them.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just another issue. Now, maybe, you know, the people you're selling to don't mind, but others will. So, John points out, try filling a 4x4 area with aqua soil, not in my budget.
Not in my budget either, I'll tell you that.
Not in my
No,
budget either.
but if you want like a 40 breeder that will just make you money,
Mhm.
aqua
Mhm.
soil is the way to go. You
Yep.
know?
This plant farm behind me, it's got a layer of fluorite on the bottom, and then aqua soil, and then sand. And I don't
Yeah.
know if I can chalk it up to the fluorite doing extra work, but like no other tank in my house has better looking root feeder plants than
Yeah.
this tank.
I mean, I have aqua soil in all my tanks.
Mhm.
I don't sell anything though. I only give plants away, and I don't grow things. I don't grow the kind of plants I would need to grow to make money on, because I
Mhm.
grow a lot of
You
crypts.
certainly can't make money selling Crinum calamostratum, for example. You'll have to wait
No,
years
no.
for one plant to mature itself. So
Yeah, and I am ready to split this one. I could, but I don't want to uproot
but it looks so beautiful as is.
Yes, I know. I don't want to uproot it. I love
Mhm.
it. So, you know, I'm obviously not set up for profit because I don't care. You know,
Mhm.
that's
No, and I
not what
would,
I'm doing.
if I had this plant farm set up for profit, it would not be as diverse as it is right now.
Yeah, I would
I would want
consolidate
more.
to one species of plant for every 6x6 area, maybe.
Mhm.
Right.
So, like in a 40 breeder, you have around
Yeah.
8 species of plants at most.
Yeah, and you would get those swords out of there. You would, you know,
Oh,
there's
God,
things you would do. I mean, I'm not set up at all. Not at all.
So Cora was asking if I have any dirted tanks. I don't. I have a lot of tanks with just inert substrate like sand or gravel or like what you call it, fluorite, eco
Yeah.
complete. Not too well. The eco complete is just a layer now, but then I have a lot with aqua soil in them. Some
Yeah.
CO2 injected and some not.
I have done dirt in the past. I've also done a mineralized substrate, which so that's where you
Chili
take
litter with,
topsoil.
yep.
Yeah, you soak it in water over and over. Water changes, water changes, water changes to get the organic component out of it, and then you dry it in the sun, and then you sieve it to get rid of any little particulates, and then you add it some other things to it. Blah 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 blah. Don't do it if you live in an apartment.
I can
Well,
only
she
Also,
just
imagine
like dirt
the struggles.
everywhere.
Also, Algae City, every dirted tank I've ever done, I regretted. So yeah, and compost, boy.
There must be a way to start them out slow enough that they don't just explode with algae, right? Just have the light.
Mineralized is probably
If your
the best
sand
way.
layer is that thick, probably, yeah, like you have this much dirt and that much sand.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of like what Father Fish says, like the
Mhm.
1 inch of dirt, and then at least double the amount of sand cap on
Yeah.
top. So the
I mean,
dirt.
sand has it. That much sand has its own issues. I don't know.
Compacting too much and
I don't know. I
trapping
like
gas.
sand.
I don't.
And I like the gas that's trapped in the sand. It takes your carbon and reacts with the oxygen, and your organics turns it into natural CO2.
Yeah. So
Now,
John
but
asked
here's
if
the thing: in a okay, here's the thing, Stephen. When you're setting up plans for profit tank, though, your sand substrate isn't gonna be sitting idle enough for that
No,
thing to
it's
develop.
not.
So it's just gonna
Yeah, you're right.
constantly cycle
Yeah.
itself. Yeah.
You're right.
That's why
Yeah.
I think if you really want to do a plants for profit tank, you will use aqua soil.
Yeah.
Yep. And you
For
don't have
sure.
to buy all of one aqua soil. Buy it slowly and whatever's on sale, as long as it's not
Yeah.
Eco Complete, which is jagged. Just buy all. They're all the same shape almost.
Mhm.
They're just different sizes and different
Yeah,
labels,
and
Exactly.
basically.
they vary somewhat, but if you just want to make money, it doesn't really matter. You can mix them and they're fine. So John asks if any of us have ever raised Amazon swords in a bog for faster growth. No, I don't want my Amazon swords to grow any faster. I would like them to
What
grow
Kelly said,
slower.
I like how fast they grow as is.
Yeah, I mean,
But yes, if you do put it in a bog, they will grow faster. Yeah.
I'm
Insane.
using CO2. There's nothing that makes an Amazon sword grow faster than CO2, whether it's above the water or below the water. CO2 is the gas pedal for Amazon swords, and they're already going too fast. So I don't grow things for profit. I grow things for pleasure, and my Amazon swords are growing
Yeah.
as is.
So Zendra was asking, like, so 30 species in a 40-gallon is not great. Look, for my
For
ADHD
display
brain,
tank, yes.
it is wonderful.
I think it's maybe
I
a bit much, but I think if it makes you happy, then I think it's good.
Now, speaking of too much diversity, yeah,
Speaking of
you
Luke,
need a
yep.
spreadsheet to keep track of like 1 or 2 tanks worth of plants.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should. There's a difference between hobby and profitability.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
Coreworks has pea gravel and dirt beneath or something. I mean, not for this kind of tank,
Yeah.
but I mean, if
Yeah, I
you
don't
want
think
to do that for
the pea
your
gravel
own,
part of it would be necessary at all. Or,
Yeah.
no,
And it wouldn't
I
work in holding the
personally
dirt back
yeah,
anyway.
I personally would never use either pea gravel or dirt in a planted tank because I don't like pea gravel for planting in. It's just a pain in the ass to plant in.
I just don't know enough about dirt, and so I slowly experiment with substrates. So I was
Yeah.
all gravel for a while, and then I switched to sand, and then I tried my hand at like the Eco Complete and fluorite stuff, and then finally aqua soil with some sand and just different layers and stuff. Like I have not ventured so far as to do the scary dirty tank thing.
Yeah, and I've done it and I'll never do it again. You know, it's a thing I did. I'm glad I did it.
And I
But
do move shit around all the time, like
it's
all the
really not
time.
for you. It's really not for you then,
No,
Steven.
because my brain is never like at peace or settled or okay with anything. So
Yeah,
like
I'll never do it again ever. It's a mess. And it was tanks that never settled. They always had
yeah.
algae in them. So Geek Boy says I used pea gravel for quite a while, but it was over a good layer of laterite. Worked very well. I mean, and it certainly can work.
Mhm.
I just think that aqua soils are easier. They're easier to plant in. I like fine foreground plants. So like I've got a foreground right
Aqua
here.
soils
There.
give more instant results. Aqua soil
Yeah.
plus CO2 equals you kind of hit the ground running with your profit tank.
Yeah, Brooklyn, you also have even worse plant ADHD than Steven does.
Yeah, you move
Because
your plants around.
Dirt
she
is not
wants
for you.
to adjust her scape, whereas like I need to make room for yet a new plant, like all
Yeah,
the time.
it's really not for you. So John says he's thinking of doing an Amazon and melon swords in a bag added to my aquaponic system. So not a tank, a true for profit system. I mean, melon swords grow fairly quickly, but I think that if you want to get rich on plants, swords are just not going to do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
swords are polarizing too because you need a big tank for a sword to really like reach its
You're cutting your
potential.
market down by a very large percentage just by getting
right.
swords.
And people want one sword. They don't want 20 swords.
If
Yeah.
even one, like, hey, does anybody Anybody want this, please? Because this is an old video. This thing is getting out of control.
It's
Oh, how
pretty
big is
big.
it now?
You should just. There's someone who wants it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
I'm sure.
Oh, perfect example. Mike from All Things Fish. He's struggling to get that sword given out to anybody. He's got that giant sword in his 125, and
I have
taking
one
up a
just
third of it.
the
Mike
same
wants.
size as his, and I
Mike
moved it
wants
to
other
another tank.
swords from me. He wants a Hate-Eye Pearl sword from me, which actually does.
Okay, but that's a little smaller though. That's smaller
He's a
than what
little
Mike's
sword.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to get rid of his big one so he can have a small sword.
Mhm.
But I've propagated one for him, so yeah. Brooklyn says I have too many swords and also too many plecos in one tank that could house swords. We need to fix this. You have a real problem, Brooklyn.
I gave Brooklyn one sword, and then the sword started getting bigger, and then it sprouted a little shoot, and she's got like four more of them some bitches coming out.
Throw them out. Here's the thing. Don't feel like you have to save every plantlet. Just throw them out. Like
I have serious issues with that statement.
I don't.
Yes, I know. I try to keep as much as I can. Give it to your local fish store. Like swords are something that almost all LFSs have. So
It's
like if you
true.
have an
They'll
excess,
always want it.
put them in a bucket, drive them over.
For me, I will just throw them out.
So if you
I
had to
only throw
pick-
algae covered plants and trimming, like broken leaves throw away. The rest of it either goes to compost if I can, or I try to find space for it in the tank, or I give it away to a local fish store.
Yeah, I mean, I will not give away anything that's algae covered or in poor condition because people deserve better than that. Really, I don't throw out crypts because crypts take a long-ish time to grow and they can always find a home.
I've never
I do
thrown
throw
out
out
crypt.
rotala trimmings because I'm just sick of them. Like, I just throw them out.
Hygro, Rotala, some Ludwigia. I get to where I have to throw those out.
Yeah.
You know,
It also depends on how you did the trimming.
I'm gonna look up and see if they're toxic because maybe my bunny will eat them.
What
Now-
plant now?
First,
What plant are you
Rotala.
talking about? Rotala?
Rotala.
I know chickens can eat them. I don't know if
Well,
that
then
makes
bunny
any
probably
difference for
can
bunnies.
too.
Chickens
I
can
would
eat
wash
Rotala, yeah.
them. I would wash them really well first, obviously, because I don't want to make her sick.
You should
But,
get some chickens. This stream should be about eggs for profit at this point.
Yeah, I do compost plants. I mean, I compost a ton of water hyacinth, so much of it every day because it's
water hyacinth.
so-
I mean, it's just yeah.
Yeah, it's so prolific, and I'm not going to ship that plant. So
So I didn't see the stream about immersed tubs, but if we're talking about selling immersed plants as aquatic plants, I don't like to do that.
Yeah.
well, I mean, unless they are pond plants, like you know,
Yeah,
if they are meant to be grown as immersed, then I think it's fine. So like Lobelia cardinalis, honestly, I think is a much nicer plant immersed because those red flowers are so pretty.
Yeah.
I grow bacopas immersed in my ponds. Obviously all my water lilies, my lotuses, those are immersed plants. I don't sell them, I give them away, but some people do sell them. Nobody's gonna get rich off of doing that though.
No. So if you had to pick like just one plant, you can only choose one plant, and you had to make your money off of that.
is it
what
one
would it be?
species or is it one specific variety?
You know what?
Like, can I
You
do
know
all
what?
of the
Go to one-
bacopas or?
Yeah, like all the bacopas, all the hygros, all the swords, all the crypts, something like that.
I think I would do
Def-
narrow leaf java fern. And here's why. Because narrow leaf java fern grows really quickly if you have CO2. And
It
it
does.
really just grows like a turtle if it doesn't. And people will pay so much money for like a piece of driftwood covered in java fern.
It's really pretty. It's very hardy.
I like it. I mean, there's so much narrow leaf java fern back here. And it just grows so fast when you have CO2. So maybe that's what I would do. And I actually like narrow leaf java fern. It's a plant I really, really like. So maybe I
Much
would
better
do
than
that.
the regular Java fern for most size
Yeah.
planted tanks. Yeah.
Yes, because the other java ferns are kind of slow.
Yeah. They'll either get large and grow at almost the same rate as a narrow leaf, or they'll be really tiny and grow really slow. So.
Oh,
So-
Luke is gonna give away
nice.
some trimmings.
Yeah,
Exciting.
absolutely.
Luke has
Um,
great plants.
Mhm.
He is exciting stuff.
Most of that stuff you can't find in like your stores near you. It's something that the online community has. So
Yeah, he has very, very soft water, so some of it may or may not work for you.
Yeah, I mean, well, he
can
sent me a
try
bunch
it.
of plants. I put most of them in this plant farm behind me where I have not changed the parameters,
Yeah,
and
you
it's
do have
doing
CO2
fine.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
So,
mean, some of them will grow.
mhm.
Yeah,
And moss is a good answer if you were going to pick one. I don't know. I think I would just lose my soul just trying to grow and sell moss for
I hate.
profit.
Yeah, and the thing
the
is
amount of
like
mulm in there.
so easy for your moss to get filled with algae.
I would hire Brooklyn to pick the algae out of all my moss.
I feel like Brooklyn deserves better than that. Like,
But she's offers to do that for me all the time, and I hate to say yes because it's like for me that is like the lowest dopamine task in the world, and so I'm like, how could I possibly expect anyone to do that?
I would just
And then you have Brooklyn on the other. She
the
just
thing
picks
is
all
like
the algae out.
no matter how crazy you are picking out the algae, you're always going to miss some.
Yeah.
And the spores that algae releases, you can't pull out the spores. It's just gonna
Yeah.
stay in the water, so it's still there.
So it's not what I would do, but narrow leaf Java fern, like once you got it going and you got that CO2 going, I mean, you just get some rocks covered in it. Like people pay lots of money. People pay like 30 or $40 for a big clump of Java fern because they don't realize how easy it is to grow when you have CO2.
So what would you pick, Myrtle?
I would go with what Kelly said, a whole bunch of microswarms. I wouldn't just stick to narrow leaf Java fern. I'd do a whole tank with different varieties because everyone can keep Java ferns. Or I would go the route of all bacopas because there's a million different bacopas. Some of them grow fast, some of them grow slow. Some of them will have a high yield per stem. Some of them are just Caroliniana, which will be a fairly average priced stem. So you can have the same care parameters for all of them, but have a different price range in each of them. So you're not limiting the market in any way.
Yeah, you can get some rare one like that, the purple stuff in there, and
the purple thing, and the Salzmani as well.
Yeah, it's an idea, and everybody can grow. Everybody can grow bacopas. Yeah.
So
Alashan says if you can grow a bulbous hudolati, so I just bought, the half of this tank is bulbous.
Yeah, that's the stuff you sent me, right?
It gets huge.
I have an excess of it. I'm just waiting for it to warm up so I can send it out.
I need to move some of this out. I just didn't feel like doing it today or this weekend, but it's getting out of control. I think it is still a little on the slow side, even with CO2. I think I would do Java ferns because those do.
And the thing, and the thing with bulbitis is the first leaf will be that small, and then the next leaf that grows out of it will be this big, small, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Like the leaves just get bigger as the plant grows. So you can't, long term, it needs at least a 240 or larger to grow, and even then it'll be cramped.
I had
a bulbitis in a 240, and it took up half of the tank.
I know, and mine it's getting big and out of control, but I really do love the plant, but I gotta thin it out. It's out of control. So CoreWorks asks, if you were doing a system like this without fish, would it pay off to overdo the nutrients and have a UV filter for algae control? You have to be careful, because the thing is, if you overdo nutrients beyond what the plants can use, you're inviting algae, and UV only controls algae so much. You really need to give the plants what they need and do adequate water changes, but you can blast it with CO2. And I wouldn't blast it with light. I would use, because some plants don't want too much light.
Right.
Yep. Light and nutrients, give them just as much as they need. And the nutrients you can, not nutrients, CO2 you can give as much as you want.
Yeah.
Well, Alashan, that's really good information. People pay big money at auctions for bulbous. That's good
because
to know.
Of how slow it grows.
People will pay big money at auctions for a lot of cheap plants just because they're not really sure what they're getting.
And Java fern is one of those plants.
Yes. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming this giveaway is U.S. only for everyone who's
Maybe I
wondering.
should just bring a bunch of that to the clash and just give some of it away. I
There you
mean,
go.
but I suppose I could sell it, and
You
then
could
I
also donate it if you're going to give it away.
Sure, maybe
Donate it
I
to the
would
auction.
I would donate it to the clash. That's what I
Yeah.
would do because I'm not interested in getting rich off my tanks. But
Yeah.
it is
So
hard to find, though. I've given it to a lot of people. I mean,
Yeah.
Steven has it because of me.
Yeah.
The reason it's hard to find is most chain stores, like big retailers, will not sell it unless they know where it's coming from. Because the people who do sell it, they're getting it from the wild, and so people who are conscious about that stuff, they want to know where they're getting the bullbitis from. So,
and I bought
and
mine.
farms don't produce much of it.
And I bought mine from a hobbyist. I think I paid $15 for it plus shipping, and I have given it to a lot of people. A lot of people, including Steven, who has given it to a lot of people.
Oh yeah, it's paid forward.
Yeah, it's really spread around, and I will keep spreading it around. That's one I don't ever throw out. I always give to people. I mean, maybe they've killed it, which is fine. I mean, whatever. I'll just make more. But that's a good thing to know that one sells really well. Maybe I will bring some to the clash and donate it to the clash. So
there's also that plant class, the like the competition.
Oh, there is. I don't know. Maybe the best looking plant I have, I'm not bringing. I'm not bringing my Crinum calistratum.
Shit, sorry, geek. I keep forgetting about that.
Oh
man.
Because if you're on a desktop, then as soon as you press the hashtag and then LU is gonna, if you want to press enter, it's not gonna send a message. It's gonna fill it out to Luke Wong, which technically the StreamYard will accept it because the word is there. It's gonna be annoying for Luke because he's gonna see everyone mentioning him.
Like, what does everybody want from me? Damn it.
Well, I mean, he'll be okay. He'll be okay.
Yeah, like just to show an example, I'm not entering this, but to show an example, I'll put in Luke's full name, and it'll show my name in StreamYard. Well, if I win reroll, but it'll show my name on that thing because it has Luke in it. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, the entries went up as you entered.
Yeah. And I'm not entering because I have no room. But thank you so much, Luke. It's very generous.
Yeah.
I hope someday we can trade plants. I don't want like a big batch of plants, but maybe we'll trade something someday. I do like trading. So but it's very nice of you. Thank you. So yeah. What would you do, Steven? What would your signature plant farm be?
I would struggle between wanting to do the big seller, fast grower type thing versus something that I just like.
Yeah.
So, like, if I was just going with I like this, so I'm going to do it, but it's not going to be like the most profitable thing in the world, I would do a lot of crypts because I mean there are some crypts that will not only grow fast, but they more readily shoot out runners and you can get duplicates. Like I'm having really good luck with actually duplicating. Of course, Spiralis is one of them that reproduces really fast. Even like Nurii, Rose and Maiden is doing really well for me too. Boost. See, I would love to just have a boost farm, but then I would just be hemorrhaging money from the get-go. And
that's true.
You're paying way too much to fill a tank. Yeah.
I don't really like boosts all that much. I have boosts.
Hey,
I just don't like it that much.
Speak ill of the boosts.
I'll speak.
I mean, it's fine, but I don't see it being a boost only tank.
You know what? I would have
like
a tank.
one boost in the middle of a carpet. It looks fine, but
for the good of the environment and the hobby, I would have like off in the corner a set it and forget it boost farm, just to have another source of ethically sourced boosts.
Yeah, I would say though that of the plants you could farm, that is one of the most precarious. It is such an algae magnet.
It is.
I mean, eventually it gets to the point where it's not an algae magnet, but I think that way more than like, let's say Anubias, it's way more of an algae magnet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It responds
the leaves are
well
just
to CO2.
porous-ish. They're porous enough and they're slow growing enough that the algae just loves to take a hold.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that people really love boost. I don't know. I don't like it that much. I just don't.
Yes, she does, Dee Dee. Shelby has a boost only escape. I've seen it in person, and it was hard to resist not dipping my hand in there and grabbing a few.
That Shelby, Shelby, She's something. She's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah, let's have
I
that.
think
Luke
so.
can explain
Austin
what we have.
is going in a few minutes. So
All right.
um, let me see if I can get this link to Luke really fast, though. And then y'all gonna answer questions while I'm doing that. For
Greg says,
Disney,
I killed $200 worth of boost. It's hard to grow. Ouch.
yeah,
Yeah, that
Really
sucks.
hurts. You know,
Yeah.
I've killed some boost too. Yeah, I mean, mine is growing pretty well right now. It's doing, but that tank finally is balanced out where it's not full of algae. It just took some time, but it took a lot of dedication cleaning the rocks it's on with a toothbrush to keep them clean. I don't think it's a good way to get rich. Boost.
Nope, not at all. But
I
it's like, oh,
think
I've got some extra, and maybe I'll share some. Here's Brownie 2011. It's only $1 million a stem.
also, I
Yeah.
think if you really want to grow boost for profit, you should do it immersed. Less algae.
Probably.
Goes much
grow.
faster, and
So
there
I
isn't
think
much of a conversion die-off when you have for
Yeah,
boost. At least it doesn't die very
and
often very much.
Anubius is the same thing. If you want to grow it like a rare Anubius for profit, or even a common Anubius for profit, Anubius, there's no conversion at all for it. So you can just grow that immersed. I think is the way to go for that. Yeah, Craig says, and the hair got all over it. Yeah, it's a magnet for hair algae. It really is. It's yeah. Leo asks, what's the best looking crypt? And is it the best in the front of the tank or the back of the tank? Well, I mean, you know, it really depends on what you want. I mean, for a big, tall crypt, I really like Balanci. I think it is
Balanci,
cool.
Spiralis, Tiger Spiralis in the back. For the front, that's really nice. The pinkish reds it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For front
For
of
the
the
front,
tank,
though.
yeah, I like
Mirai Rosen Maiden. That's one. There's a Venti form that's green with stripes in it. I don't remember what it's called though.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called either. I just like plain old Lucens for the front of a tank because even though it's so slow, I think it's great for aquascaping. I have Hutteroy crypt in here I really love. That's a nice purpley crypt. And it's kind of a medium grower. I have it in the back of a 40 breeder, but it's not super tall.
I have like 3 tanks that look like that at the top, just a pile of trimmings that I don't have the heart to throw away.
Those are all from like the past your stream.
Hi, Luke.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Hey, Luke.
All right, real quick. I'm kind of getting off on my foreground right now, so I'm gonna walk through the front row.
Yeah.
There's a variegated boost with just a bit of leftover traces of algae, but then there's Pogostemon helferi,
fun,
Storagine portobello, Hydro chai, Glossostigma, and that's a little piece of. It should be Raubensis, but it was a baby that Myrtle sent.
Oh.
Eliocaris.
I sent what now?
Cryptocorini nurii Raubensis.
Oh, that one. Yep, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so, but it was just a stem when it showed up, and now it's getting its second leaf, so we'll see how it expresses.
It's going back slowly, gotcha.
Yeah. Some dwarf baby tears. This is Simolis parviflorus red, S. repens. There's a little baby Xyrus that I just split off from his mother over here.
So cute.
Nice.
Some Boost Godzilla with that sword.
That's a nice
Pogostemon helferi red.
Are you offering that sword?
You can pay me for that sword.
I figured. Yeah.
Ranunculus. And then mystery plant.
Wow.
Yep.
This is a silver steen. It doesn't really come off, but those leaves are like 3 inches long each.
Nice. That's
Marsilia crenata, and then
love Marsilia.
Wrapping up with another bit of algae on the Anubius dragon claw.
Nice. How fun. You always have so many species.
Yeah, it's
What was that blackbeard algae on the Anubius?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I blast them at the front, so it happened. The Pinto doesn't have any on it, though. So
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Those pintos are so pretty, but so
Yep.
puffy.
So yeah, most of the stuff I've got today is
It's-
fairly quick growing.
You
But-
don't want to plant your boost roots. You want to, I mean, if the roots themselves go into the soil, it's okay. You don't want the rhizome to be planted.
Yeah,
You
it's
want
just the
them
rhizome
up-
because
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
you
yeah.
can plant
so
the roots
this,
in because that's what I do with all my bees. I put the roots down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
right
the rhizome
here
needs to be up.
is where they came from. If I can pull it back enough, you maybe can see there's a piece of dragonstone here. So it crawled its own way over here.
Yeah, and if it goes over there of its own accord, it's okay because the rhizome won't go underneath.
And how long did that take for it to crawl around the sword like that?
Probably a couple months at least.
8 months, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some things that I just am patient with, and some things that keep on popping up. So
Yeah.
Boost is one of those things that you do just have to be patient with, even if you have CO2. It just takes a while, you know.
Yeah.
and then just kind of like bulbitis, all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, there's a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, that is true. Because I don't know. Sometimes I think, oh, I don't have anything in my tank, and then I look over, and I'm like, oh my god, the bulbous got huge. What happened? It took over.
All right. So we're going to
Drawing.
roll this soon because I don't want to. I know Austin, if he's not going now, he's probably waiting for us to shut up so he can go. So
Yeah.
I
For
very
sure.
much appreciate this, Luke.
Thank you
doing
so
this giveaway.
much. What a generous.
Yeah, of course.
You're
So
a
we got-
friend of the stream.
Mm-hmm. So we got 42 entries, and I'm gonna go ahead and click draw. And
Well, share your screen first.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, we don't want you cheating, Steven.
I would never do such a thing.
No, you wouldn't.
I'm the winner. Send to me. Okay. All right, and go.
Oh, and if one of you doesn't mind throwing my email in the chat.
Yep, looking for it just now.
Alishon.
Yay! Oh, and Alishon has soft water, so that's exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, he'll have a good time with all
Sweet.
the trimmings. Cool.
Congrats.
Did you want me to run through the giveaway species real quick, or are we running short?
You can name them real quick. Give me your email address if.
Yeah, so that's going to be Payran, period.
Dot Wang at
period.
1997@email.com.
Myrtle's on
Yes,
top
sir.
of that shit.
Myrtle, he's on it.
All right. So what are the species, and then we'll sign off here.
All right, so we've got a bit of Rotala mini butterfly,
All right.
Macrandra mini butterfly. Before I lose it, there's a couple pieces of Limnophila sessiliflora, which is like an easier kabamba.
Yeah.
Grows really quick. It's gotten like 4 to 6 inches in a day for me before.
It's a crazy fast grower, yeah.
Rotala Bangladesh. So
Mhm.
these are the pieces that are at the very top where they're kind of turning orangey pink.
It's
Nice.
similar to Wallachii and Bossii, I believe.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
but
it was
it's
Bossii.
a lot easier in my
Okay.
experience.
Nice.
Mhm.
Limno
Alishon.
Repens.
Alishon, I
Alishon-
don't have room for my plants. No, I
Yeah.
can't. I don't have room. I don't have room. No. Thank
Very
you,
nice
though.
of you.
But seriously,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
have room right now. Very nice
Alishon
of
has
you.
more room.
And neither do I.
Yeah, I
in
don't
case you're
either.
wondering. So
That's why we didn't enter.
yeah.
Yeah. I just
Looks like
entered
you're
to show
entered
people that you
anyways.
can put his full name. But I don't have room. I have to take stuff out actually, so I can grow some things that I have bred.
A bird species. Plus, like, I keep tagging Myrtle in all the rare plant auctions.
You're not helping me.
You can start tagging me instead. I'll save
Okay,
Myrtle
Luke,
some
I'll
money.
start tagging you.
Oh.
So this here is a bunch of Limno Repens, which is like a compact aromatica, but stays pretty green, and it's fairly wide leafed.
Mhm.
This is a single Cuphea anagaloidea. I say single, but it's got a lot of
That's a cool
side stems
Side
coming
shoots to
off
it,
of
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a piece of high-grow species brown. We totally don't know what species this is. Not at all. But it's brown.
Hi, fish.
Here is some ranunculus inundatus.
That plant is nice to grow outside of your water.
It's really fun.
Beautiful yellow flowers. Yeah, beautiful yellow flowers.
Yeah, it's ranunculus are in the buttercup family.
Yep.
So
I think it's called river buttercup too. Yeah, like the common name for it.
Forms pretty dense rosettes.
All ranunculus are pretty. They're buttercups.
Yep. Here's two salzmanii, Bacopa salzmanii, that were mentioned earlier. These should be standard, so a little bit more difficult to turn red than the super red SG form.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever grown that Bacopa, but I don't grow a lot of stems, so.
This is a bunch of Marsilea quadrifolia that I just
love. Marsilea. I love them. They're so nice and easy.
Came out of this spot.
Nice.
And the other thing that came out was some Pogo Stem Helperi red that I ripped out of that spot. So that's going as well.
Sweet.
Nice.
So I haven't seen if Alishan is gonna keep it, but
I definitely am not taking it. So yeah, either you keep it or give it to someone else. Yeah.
Myrtle has no room.
Because the picture you see in my background right now, that was a couple of weeks ago when I did a huge trim, but it's gone back to my original tank state. So yeah, I don't. It'll rot in the box by the time I get time to trim the tank again. So I'd rather the plants go to someone who can make use of them.
He has your email address. He knows how to contact me, and I know how to contact pretty much everyone in this chat. So.
He said, "How about Brooklyn?"
Oh, Brooklyn! Oh,
you got room for plants, Brooklyn?
Oh, she'll make room.
She has more tanks, so
yeah,
she'll make it work.
All right, y'all. So yeah, I'll if she didn't hear it, I'll get in touch with her and ask her about it.
You know how to find Brooklyn.
Yeah. So, all right. Sorry.
Austin. Yeah. Well, I'm around. Anyone can contact me. I'll just assume that whoever it is will has been sent over by the right person.
Oh, Brooklyn can
have some honor.
Yay!
I knew she would.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sweet.
Awesome, Brooklyn. Congratulations.
Okay. She'll have
so thank you so much, Luke, and thank you to our awesome moderators and our super chatters, members, lurkers, and replay crew.
Thank you so much, everyone. We're so glad you're here. And thank you, Myrtle, for coming back to us. We missed you. And
glad to be back.
Luke. We love having you up here on the stream, Luke, and thank you for your nice donation.
Thanks, guys. It's always fun. Yeah, have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.